Hello, everybody. How you doing? Well, why is that
My
not
hair's kind
working?
of a mess.
That's okay. My life's kind of a mess, so
You know.
so let's just make that match. All right. So no my rise today. So we'll speed bump in our normal uh stuff. I finally got it to work, but I had to start the my rise over, so I am getting Tori to roughly back where we were. I figure that's better than starting over on the stream. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna try to fix these little dealies real quick because for some reason they're not working. Talk amongst yourselves. Revolutionary War was neither a revolution nor a war.
Do what?
That's the Revolutionary War was neither a revolution nor a war. It's the old Mike Myers bit.
Coffee talk?
Yeah,
I
talk
actually
amongst
love that.
yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Uh, I'll have to fix that later. I added a thing, and then apparently it broke the other things. So
Okay.
um, we'll we'll figure that out later, I guess. So here's the thing. So TikTok, we got 1,011 followers.
Nice.
Got a goal on that of 2,000. We were at 34 in YouTube, and we are still standing strong at 20 in the land of Twitch. So we will see where we go on that. Um, so anyway, I know you binge watched a couple of the latest things. You binge watched a little bit of NXT and Dynamite.
I did watch NXT, which was a very good show.
Here's
Um,
here's our sponsor for the day. This time it's me.
nice.
Big ass. They got the best lemonade in Oklahoma, as far as I'm concerned. It tastes like natural lemonade. It's not like from a fountain Minute Maid crap.
Okay.
What
It's Fountain Minute Maid.
is it? It certainly does
Yeah,
not taste like that.
they're a customer of ours, and yeah,
Really?
yeah.
They must do something to it then, because it doesn't taste like Minute Maid. Anyway, maybe they squeeze some actual lemons in it at the end of the day. I don't know. If they do, then that's the magic touch. Yeah,
Possibly.
it was a good show. Weird showing of Stephanie. Just kind of like we knew she was coming, but just
That core?
yeah, just
No, I totally understand it. But those first few shows, we knew they were going to pull out the big guns.
oh yeah. But Cora Jade coming back. They made reference to Cora's and Roxanne's past together. Um, Talked about how the title kind of pulled them apart, and so they think now that the title's going to bring them together. Which in wrestling speak means here in a couple of months they're going to feud over that title. Um,
100%.
but
Or Roxanne's going to be the reason she loses it.
yeah, something's going to happen. Um, I'm a little weirded by Booker T kind of riding that. Like he's a face most of the time, but then he's like 100% behind Roxanne. Anything she does, can't touch her.
He trained her. I can't blame him for
I
that.
understand that. I'm just saying, just a little like common sense would be nice. Um, Jay showed up, had a little thing with Trick. That was fun. Um, I like how white the audience is that they couldn't understand what they were trying to do there for a second because they were trying to do whoop that trick yeet, and it took them a couple of tries to get into the rhythm. Um, Also, Trick talking to Wes Lee, that was the funniest shit I think I've ever heard.
He hit him with light skin, and I was like, "Sir,
Hmm Hold on there, light skin. Whoa, 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 what? Jesus. Um, do you think the first like 10 minutes of NXT was a response to the Triple H might be a little racist?
100%.
So I watched it after the fact. I read the results and immediately I thought like, nah, that's just a coincidence because you had Jay come out, like Jay's doing the thing with Trick. They've had people come down, but then I saw the shot because I didn't realize that uh, all of the face team came in too, which was Jade and Bianca and
And Kalani.
Bonnie. Um, all of them coming in, so it was all five of them in the ring at the same time.
Uh huh.
All
And all of them with titles. Yeah,
yeah.
no,
I'm like,
there's no chance
okay,
that was not a response
yeah,
to
that was a
you
little
have no black
fuck
people on the pay per
you.
view. Um, there's no chance it wasn't. I was fine with it. It was well done. It was good. I was good with it. But 100%, I believe it was a response.
Yeah. Of course, the internet's blowing up about the blown spot between Jordan and the kid Randy Orton and
Oh, Javon Evans.
John Evans. Yeah, there we go. I'll get these names eventually. I don't watch it nearly
Here's
enough.
here's and I think we talked about this. That kid is 19.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pressure of wrestling Randy Orton in his hometown?
Well, and so add to it, I saw a picture today that they had pulled up and put on WWE Social of him holding a 3 pack that has Randy's action figure in it when he was like 14.
That's what I'm saying. I I have no issues with the fact that he messed that up
Yeah.
because of
There was a lot.
he's 19.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people like initially a lot of people were talking about how he screwed it up, Javon, and then now a lot of people are back and saying that Randy screwed it up. Here's the thing: it just wasn't positioned right. That's all it was. Whether Randy should have
Javon was
been one way or Javon should have been the other way, it doesn't matter who messed it up. It just wasn't positioned correctly. Javon will never make that mistake again.
nope,
That'll stick with him for the rest of his career now.
absolutely.
And
He will
Randy,
never forget. And he was in mid rotation.
yeah,
With the way he was facing, it wasn't going to work anyway.
right. Well, and you and I discussed that. Like, there's been people that did the high flying moves that had to change how they did the move for Randy to hit the move.
Yeah,
And all it was is that instead of like, so he does that and lands um, perpendicular.
yeah.
He needed to just be even and basically face the other turnbuckle.
That's what I'm saying. It
That's all it was.
no, it
He
was
wasn't positioned right, and that's fine. He did like 4 rotations in midair.
yeah.
I think we can cut him some slack. Um, to me, the story of the night is Randy Orton because Randy, in I don't know, let's say 2000s early, he would have been yelling stupid and hitting him with like 5 or 6 RKO's just to prove a point.
And
So
when he picked Javon up and Javon said he said I'm sorry like 3 times. I'm so sorry, something like that.
yeah,
And Randy's like, "It's okay, kid.
yeah,
Like it's okay."
it's all right.
Yeah.
He's
Randy was so cool about that and I was so happy to see that.
because they still had a damn good match. It was one spot.
Yeah.
It's no
And
skin off
I
anybody's nose. They will wrestle again. I'd almost guarantee it at some point before Randy goes, and they
and
will
Randy
get
will do
that.
the
They'll get that spot right.
well, and even Booker T talked about the rub.
Yeah, that rub's insane. This
Yeah.
kid, not even 20 years old, wrestled Randy Orton, who is currently at
In
the
Randy's
top of his
hometown.
game. Yeah,
He's probably in the best shape of his career. Like I have no beef with Javon. Was the spot pretty? No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Do I care? No, I don't. Because that kid went out there and he hung in there with Randy fucking Orton.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I
He,
couldn't do it.
he held his own. Um,
All these people talking shit, you couldn't get out there.
no, not at all.
You couldn't
Um,
carry Javon's bag, much less Randy's. Like,
so speaking of talking shit, I got into a little bit of banter, kind of piggybacking off of Princess Skywalker, friend of the show. Um, some people are talking some shit about Maria right now. Maria Kanellis, of all people, because she was backstage apparently giving some feedback to some female wrestlers about what they should do in the ring, and someone decided to say, "Hey, I was there. I saw you doing it, and I don't see why you should be giving anybody any wrestling advice. You're not a wrestler."
okay.
What the
I'm
fuck?
gonna preface I'm gonna preface this with you're well aware of how I feel about Maria.
Absolutely.
They can go fuck themselves. Like, this woman has been in the business for 20 something years. She did used to wrestle.
Hmm.
She doesn't now because she has children and has had some health issues
Yeah.
and is better as a manager. It's a better role for her.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she can't stand back there and go, "Hey, I noticed this little thing that if you did this, it may look better or it may get a better response or it may be any of a number of things." So to act like her knowledge is unnecessary or her,
Hmm.
get out of here with that.
So
And the people talking shit to her on Twitter, mm-mm.
here was my response on Twitter, and it will be my response here, and I will stand on this until the day I die, as far as I'm concerned. The only reason they said anything is because it's Maria, a female in the wrestling business. Because I don't see anybody saying that shit to Paul Heyman. I don't see anybody saying that shit about Bobby Heenan. And so someone did respond to me as like, well, Bobby Heenan did used to wrestle. Yeah, but he wrestled, and like I love Maria. He wrestled about the same as Maria did. It wasn't like high level matches. It was he was part of the roster, and he did fun little matches once in a while. But his knowledge of the business and his knowledge of the production and his knowledge of the entertainment side of it was paramount. He was able to there are statements that he was not just a manager on screen for a lot of those people he managed. He like managed their career. Same thing with Jimmy Hart back then. Same
Yeah,
thing uh
Albano,
yeah,
Captain Lou,
these people,
Freddie Blassie, they all did that.
yeah. Um you
Just
know,
because somebody is not an active wrestler does not mean their opinion is not valid.
mhm. Well, and so they started to attack a little bit on some of us lower level YouTube personalities that talk about wrestling all the time. To me, that even goes into effect about the things we do. There are things that we have said should be done, and then weeks later, months later, they happen because they realized it would be a good idea. Now, they didn't get the idea from us. They're not watching this channel and trying to get ideas for their multi-billion
Right.
dollar company, but we've watched it enough and been around it enough that we're able to look at it and go, hey, you should do that little thing different. It'd be better. And so I couldn't imagine trying to tell someone who has been in the business backstage talking to those people.
No.
I couldn't imagine telling them
Now,
they don't know what they're doing.
if we were watching something and that happened and I just made the off the cuff comment, like I'm known to do,
Hmm.
and it turned into a conversation, okay. But I'm going to preface every conversation with anybody that does this with, I've never done this. My experience is purely through sitting in the stands or watching at home.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I'm not about to stand here and tell Maria how to be a better manager. I'm not about to stand here and tell Mike Bennett how to swing a chair.
Hmm.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, these people jock riding on Maria can all go fuck themselves. She's an amazing woman. She's dealing with her health stuff right now. She still wants to work. Her contract's about to come up. It's not been, she hasn't resigned as of now.
Hmm.
And I don't see the problem here.
I don't either.
I don't understand why you all are salty about somebody you have no standing to have an opinion on.
Hmm. Well, and then like even if the advice is crap, which it's not, because again, who she is, um, there's no reason to ever look at somebody trying to help somebody else and say you need to stop that. They're just trying to help them. That's
And
shut
if the
up.
person that she's talking to walks away and never uses that advice, who cares?
Yeah, that's on them.
I just,
Anyway, I wasn't even going to bring that up, but that just kind of dovetailed straight into what you were just saying. So I felt like I had to get that off my chest. So yeah, fuck that guy. Um,
literally.
that is
And all of
that
them
is
that are talking shit to her and giving her a hard time, and they can all kiss my ass.
mm-hmm,
Like, you aren't doing this. You don't get to tell somebody who's been in the business for 20 years how to run it, how to do things when you haven't been. You've watched the business for 20 years.
absolutely. And I want to
She
say
has
was
backstage respect.
I want to say in her entire career it was like 120 some odd matches
Yeah.
um, in total. And if I remember right, there was I had the stats written down in the tweet, but like we're talking like 34 of them were on pay per view. So
Yeah.
she was a big deal. Anyway, I'm gonna go through some of the stuff that I perused through Fightful. Thank you, Fightful, for letting me be one of Fightful Select's own. SRS to me is one of the only credible people out there anymore because there's so many biases. However, I do want to say apparently Uncle Dave finally has um, let it be known that on Tuesday night more people wanted to watch NXT than they wanted to watch AEW. The numbers were pretty overwhelming between the two. However, I do want to say local cable channel, like off air channel, versus a cable channel, not really a fair comparison. More
Not at
people
all.
have the CW, which is kind of
It's
why they
not.
went to CW.
It's not just that. It's a night that you normally aren't on.
Hmm.
We're into playoff season in baseball. Um, I watched Dynamite. What can I say? It wasn't good.
It wasn't. It was a very talk
There
heavy
were
episode.
4 total matches.
Yeah,
Now, and we talked. I think you and I were talking about. No, I was talking to Princess about this.
yeah,
Um, Jess. I
yeah.
couldn't think of her first name. I just went dumb. Her and I were talking about it. Obviously, you've had horrible travel issues.
Hmm.
A ton of talent lives in Florida. A ton of talent lives in the North Carolina area.
Yeah,
Those areas have gotten absolutely fucked up in the past 2 weeks.
absolutely.
So, and her and I were talking about this. If you know you have people that aren't going to be there, say that. As much as Tony likes to tweet, and this here, I'll tell you exactly what I said to her. I said, I know weather has messed with stuff, but still, you have a massive roster and are on a different coast. They're in Washington. They were
Hmm.
in Spokane Tuesday. They're in Tacoma Saturday
Yeah,
or Sunday, whatever day the pay per view is. It's a major criticism and it's warranted.
yeah,
And honestly, as much as Tony likes to tweet, say it up front.
yeah.
Here was the show I had. Here's what happened. Here's the show we have now, but we're going to make the best of it.
Yeah. Well, and to me, like if you want to use a keynote, do you remember the ice storm that caused Raw to have like 5 guys there?
Look, that was one of the funniest segments ever because of because of Moxley.
Hmm.
That I could not stop laughing at that one.
Or
But
the Raw roster going on strike, and it was
yeah,
like Sheamus and CM Punk and Triple H, and that was it. That's
but
all they had there. So they made the best of it.
when the flight back from Saudi got messed up,
Hmm. And NXT showed up.
um, right, like just own it up front that your people are not going to be there.
Yeah. Well, and you have a big
Like I
enough
don't,
roster, like you said. Like you could do something else.
and that's my beef. You have a massive top to bottom roster. It's not like you couldn't say, okay, obviously FTR, Copeland, any of a number of people are not going to be here because of North Carolina.
Hmm.
Because I guess Copeland was supposed to be there and texted Tony or called Tony and was like, I can't come. I'm helping them dig out dead bodies.
Yeah.
Like, okay, say that.
Yeah.
He puts it on his social media. We know these people are not going to be there.
Yeah.
Just say it.
So I've got a fantasy book thing, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, it's weird the things he tweeted. It's weird the things that he decided not to. Um, to me, like Daniel Garcia's been the middle of a lot of conversation when it comes to wrestling because WWE apparently wants him really badly. AEW wants to keep him really badly. His contract's coming up, and we kind of just have it in a throwaway segment that he's re-signed with the company. To me, that would have been something I would have made a big segment. I would have had Daddy Magic out there interviewing
So
him, saying, "Hey, there's this lot of question, man. I need to know if you're staying or going." And they make a big production of it. He tweets it out, like, make that a
they
thing.
started it with a conversation with Renee in the parking lot
Hmm.
because obviously, like you said, there's been a ton of speculation. Is he staying? Is he going? What's he doing?
Hmm.
Um, he said, I'm gonna dress in the ring. I think it kicked off the second hour.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. You're also not in your regular time slot on not your regular day.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have done it there.
I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying if you're trying to keep people invested in the episode despite what's going on, why didn't you
I
make
wouldn't have.
that? I would have made that a
That
big
should have been
deal.
your opener. That should have been the opener instead of Mox.
I would say the opener, or have that be the end of the night, and have him say that he's not only is he re-signed, now he's going after Jack Perry or something. Like make a
Yeah.
thing happen.
Yeah. Speaking of Jack Perry, I know that man. I we do a group chat on the Heels page
Hmm.
for every show,
Yep.
talking about the shows and so on. So that way we can all talk to each other. And I put it there just to make sure I had not misheard this man. But Jack Perry said Shibata had a turkey leg in his trunks. I was like, tell me I didn't hear that right. They were like, oh no, that's what he said. First of all, why did you say it? Second of all, how do you know this?
Hmm.
I I was like, I literally started cackling to myself while I was working, watching this because he said that, and I went, I rewound it. I backed up to make sure I had heard that man correctly.
Yeah.
He has a turkey leg in his trunks. Sir, this is the Wendy's. What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's no suffering succotash, son. But you know,
It's
hey,
not. It's
it
not.
is out of pocket though. Um, it was interesting, but yeah, no, I agree. There's so much they could have done, and so the fantasy booking that I just came up like that came to brain is
Okay.
have ROH invade,
You
steal the
could have
idea
easily.
from WWE because that's what happened. NXT invaded because the Saudi guy they couldn't get back from Saudi in time.
Yeah.
Have ROH invade. That would be so cool.
Have a bunch of the ROH guys show up and just start beating down
Yeah.
AEW guys. You have Wrestle Dream this weekend. I think they have 5 matches, 6.
Yeah.
Now, do I think you need to stack that card anymore? No,
No.
because Mox Danielson is going to be absolutely amazing. We're getting Shibata, Jack Perry,
Mm-hmm.
Private Party, and the Young Bucks. This pay per view is going to be fire.
Yeah. It's a stacked pay per view as is. Not if they did this to me, it would change plans for the next pay per view
Yeah,
of making it some sort of like invasion angle, um, or even just shut it down in an episode of like a couple of episodes of the show. But
yeah,
they could have done something. Something could have been different.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think it was a fair fight. They didn't have a lot of their main roster there that they have for the show, and different night of the week. It wasn't fair. It wasn't a fair fight. Do I think the numbers would have been extremely competitive? No, I don't. But it would have been
No,
better than what they
because
got.
yeah,
Because I'd almost guess like
that's what I'm saying.
if you looked at the minute by minutes, I'd almost guess that people tuned in and then immediately saw where they were going with the show and went, "Nah, I'll switch over." Um, we had a butts and seats
Literally,
Mick Foley moment or something.
I kind of here's the other side. AEW or WWE NXT stacked the hell out of that
Oh
show.
yeah, you opened the
So
night with Jay Uso showing up. Didn't do nothing with him other
Jay
than him just being out
Uso,
there, but
he was just there, which I was fine with.
yeah, I was good with him being there. I think him and Trick should do
Yeah,
something. I think it'd be a little bit of fun at some point before he loses that
I'm
belt.
all for it. I am all for that. Like, give me some, give me Trick and Jay.
Oh, that'd be fun too.
Give
Yeah.
give me Wesley and Jay.
Mm, that'd be a
I'm just saying,
yeah.
you could put Jay Uso, have him running through NXT at the same time, and not hurt anyone or anything by doing it.
Yeah. So let me run through this news. So MGF, obviously, like lately, he's not been on the show, kind of been written off a little bit. That's because he has gotten a major role in Hollywood. You can call it a major role. I don't know how major it is. It's for Happy Gilmore 2. Apparently, he has
I
signed
heard
up for a
that.
role for that.
I heard that. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm kind of hoping we get a Bob Barker esque type role for him.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. He also has an
So
upcoming project with Justin Long and Ron Perlman as well. He's
nice.
also been cast in another movie alongside the stars Justin Long, Ron Perlman. Although the details on that one's kind of scarce, so we don't know exactly what that movie's going to be about. But like he's getting
Okay.
roles out there, and I think that's good for him.
Good for him.
The Hollywood crossover for his popularity, for AEW's popularity, it's not going to be a bad thing.
This is where that partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery
Mm-hmm.
is going to help. Is
Absolutely.
stuff like this. Because look at some of that. There's a ton of that roster you could very easily put into movie roles.
Yeah.
I'm Sky Blue, Britt Baker, Nyla.
Yeah.
Okay, did that first of all, that bump was nasty.
Jesus Christ. She need.
Did you
He
hear
said she
her
needed a
when she
backiotomy.
did you hear her when she came off the top off the second rope to the outside?
No.
The girls are out there fighting, and you see her come up from the other side and climb up and get on the second rope. And as she gets ready to jump, she's like, "Surprise, bitches!"
She's been doing more of that shit lately, and I love it. I love that she's letting her personality go a little bit.
I'm like, "You are chaos, and
She
I am here for it."
I'm a big proponent a lot of the time of like, hey, just shut up and be the badass, and all that. Like, but she has got such an explosive personality
She does.
that
I
like
love
it
her.
makes her the in ring even more fun. Like I
Yes,
seem to remember there was a move that um, Ember Moon was her name now,
Athena.
Athena, that she
She
was
went to she went to she went to do something, and Nyla picked her up and said, "Have you lost your damn mind?"
just little things like that. Absolutely great. She needs to do more of that. So the fact that she
I'm
is
here for it.
the fact
Like,
that she
I love it.
surprised bitches on the way out, like that's fine. That's good.
So good. I just, it's one of those things. It's a little thing. Like Emmy Sakura hit that crossbody on Camille and Mercedes on the outside. And when she landed, she did her little teacup thing. Perfect. Like, that's the little, it's little stuff that makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Those little bitty
So,
notches.
100%.
AEW pay-per-view library has been announced that it's going to be on Max. Um, so the fact that we're now going to see uh, Dynamite and Collision and Rampage also on there as their basic library as well. Um, that's great. The details on the pay-per-views are kind of vague on what they're going to be doing with that.
They're saying the first thing I read was a discounted price on pay per view if you have Max,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how that's going to work. Just because, like, some people have Max through a provider,
Mm-hmm.
some people have it through just the app itself. Like, we have, I think we could get it through Verizon
Mm-hmm.
on
That's
our
how I have it.
bill.
Yeah.
Like, we have Disney that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it
So,
through a Netflix bundle. It goes like Netflix and Max are bundled together.
yeah, how are they going to know?
I don't know. Well, I'd assume that's just by the login, but still, it's like it's weird though if you're gonna say, okay, well, if you log in, you can go in there and click this button, and then you pay like 20 instead of 40. That's
Right.
still like I don't know. I think the day of the pay per view is dead. Like that model of pay per view.
It
Um,
is.
WWE has changed the market on how that works.
Now, to be clear, when they started the WWE Network, which you could get for just $9.99, um, we used to throw that shit in there all the time when we were planning to watch pay per view.
Yeah, 9.99
But
a month.
it changed everything.
Yeah,
What I spent in a year for the WWE Network was basically WrestleMania and one other pay per view.
yeah.
Okay,
Not even a good one, like an in your house or something.
yeah. Look, some of those in your house pay per views were fire.
Some of them were good. Yeah.
Be kind of fun to live stream and watch an old pay per view.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe we do that on a gaming break at some point too. Um, WWE talent news: Britt Baker, or it's funny it says WWE talent. It's AEW talent. Britt Baker misses an AEW show. She missed her AEW appearance due to an illness. Um, no real word on what the illness is or what's going on, but she had to miss because of that. However, we did find out on Dynamite because she popped up out of nowhere was Penelope Ford showed back up.
I'm
Um,
here for that.
so absolutely awesome that she returned. And her man also returned in a backstage segment with Hook, which I loved that moment with Hook. Hook getting that edge and showing more of his personality is definitely something I've been waiting for. I wasn't a fan of like the hoodie, not talking, eating chips crap that he was doing, but now that he's just like yelling and infuriated that someone has done something to his dad, like I like what they're doing with his character right now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it too. We saw the previews, I think it was on Raw, for somebody coming soon.
Yep.
But I'm like, we're just bringing the guns straight to Raw?
Yeah, which is really weird. And that's just because, and again, I don't remember Fightful saying this. So again, like I listen more to Fightful than I do a lot of other newscasters and their
Which is
thoughts
fair.
of the business. But I'd heard that nobody was going to skip NXT anymore. Everybody was going to have to go through there. Which to me, I'd rather have the guns there, to be honest.
I would too.
I think them being the cornerstone of the tag division in NXT would make
Would
their
be
tag
huge.
division so good.
Yeah,
Um, even if it's just for a year or two, just something to teach those young kids because the Motor City Machine Guns, they never really got the prestige that they deserved because of them being in TNA, and that's not a knock on TNA. It's just TNA never could get over that hump to be
right.
something that was revered by the mass majority of wrestling fans. Uh, but they're bar none one of the best tag teams of all time.
Absolutely.
So when I heard that they were getting back together, that in itself was something I was ecstatic about because when they separated, they tried to do both of them as main event talents. There's something missing between the two of them individually, in my opinion, that when they're together, it just meshes so well. Um,
They're both amazing singles wrestlers. Like
yeah.
Shelly and Saban's an amazing singles wrestler.
Hmm.
But I agree. I think they should go NXT. Them, Fraser and Axiom would be so amazing.
Oh, it would be absolutely.
Um, them against Stax and that other kid in the family.
Lorenzo? No, that is Stax. Never mind.
That's Stax.
Yeah, the other one.
That's going to irritate me that I can't think of his name. Anyway, those two against the machine guns would be huge experience for them.
Hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. Seeing them against the Street Profits, seeing them against War Raiders or War Machine or whatever we're calling them.
War Raiders.
Yeah.
They brought it back,
Um, they did.
which means Hunter went, y'all are coming back, but we're dropping that stupid fucking name.
Well, there's a lot of that stuff. I forget what the interview was, or who it was rather, but oh, it was Eric Young. Eric Young was on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, and they were talking about him when he got debuted on Raw, and he was like, all of that was a Vince decision. He called me up and then
Obviously.
didn't know what to do with me, and then I just kind of sat there. Like that was all a Vince decision.
Sanity would have been an amazing gimmick if Hunter had been running Raw.
Well, and could you imagine, like, again, it's fantasy booking, and I get that, sometimes we hype stuff up, but can you imagine if Sanity would have came in at the time that they did because the Wyatt family was there at the time, and what kind of shit those two would have been in? These two cult-like.
Eric Young, oh my God, Killian Dane,
Mhm.
and Alexander Wolf against Bray, Harper, and Rowan. Sign me up.
The vignettes alone would have been insane.
EY was amazing on the microphone.
Oh
Still
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
But
That's why TNA scooped him back up as soon as he became available.
absolutely. He's wrestling, I think, right now, or was a little bit ago.
Yeah. Um, which is crazy because last I checked, he was murdered in TNA. Like literally, Sammy Callahan murdered
So
him.
was Adam Cole. So was Adam Cole.
Like that was on BTE. Nobody cares about that. Speaking of Sammy Callahan, there is rumor now,
AEW.
not just AEW, but there's been all this talk of
Mox.
like Shane McMahon is behind this whole thing with Moxley. Moxley just applied for a
A trademark.
copyright, a trademark, yeah, for what was it? It was
Conspiracy something.
Switchblade
Switchblade
Conspiracy,
Conspiracy.
which was the name of their tag team that
Yeah.
they had back on the Indies.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of rumor that maybe Sammy comes in and he's the mastermind, which if you think about it, has been his gimmick everywhere he's went. Is this mastermind hacker-ish, like the fact that he essentially hacked into his best friend's brain to get him to say you need to take out Brian Danielson.
I people. I will say I don't know how to feel about the Shane part. If he's just there to be an on TV character for this, okay. If you want, Shane obviously has a mind for the business.
Hmm.
Obviously. Um, I don't dislike the idea of Shane being there. Yes, there's the obvious why, but I think it could be real interesting.
I think it could be too. And here's where I'm gonna say some shit that could get me in trouble. If you got Shane McMahon for his mind in the business, did you kind of get the second place trophy? Because there's a reason why he's not running his daddy's business right now.
I think the reason he's not running his daddy's business is because he didn't want to be any part of daddy.
I don't disagree
And
with that.
what was going on, what he knew was going on, and he was like, "Nah, I don't want my name on this."
I don't disagree that that could be part of it. I just,
So
I,
I
I look at the situation and how many times he got pushed out in favor of Triple H, and it's like,
hang on a second though. Compare Triple H to Shane in that role. Shane loses every time.
mhm.
Not because of anything Shane's done,
No, not at
because of how
all. It to me,
because of how Vince looks at things.
it's nothing against Shane. Shane has made his own millions. Shane has went and started businesses and sold businesses. Like he's a smart businessman. But I'm not sure he ever
He
had.
survived a helicopter crash.
That's right.
They, they beat that fucking pony to death.
Him and Ric Flair just, you know, surviving air travel crises. Um, but I don't know. Like to me, I just to me I kind of have that feeling of like you got the Sadie Hawkins prize for for bookers if you bring him in. Um, just my opinion. But and don't put him in the ring. Don't put him to me. Don't even put him on TV. He's not what he was when he was in his like mid 20s. Now he sweats the moment he walks out the tunnel, and he doesn't seem to know how to talk on the mic anymore. He doesn't know how to draw people in anymore. He goes out there and kind of mumbles and rambles for a while.
Again, I feel like some of that is crisis of confidence slash dad.
It could be absolutely.
Because how, as someone that had those issues, I know how hard it is to go out there and feel like you've got to do everything every time perfectly, or all you're going to hear about is what you did wrong, not what you did right.
Hmm.
I haven't even watched that documentary. I'm just going off of what you told me, and it just, I feel that. So I think if you get him out there a little bit, give him a little space, he'd be fine.
I think at the very least, like here's the thing: if them and Shane McMahon are trying to make a deal, at the very least, bringing him into the behind the scenes monetary business side of the business and letting him run that kind of stuff, and letting Tony step back a little bit on that stuff. Because here's the thing: all right, you just made this massive deal with Max, but how much money are you hemorrhaging still? Because we've heard the numbers of contracts of these people that he's hiring, and like Cope, for instance. Now Cope did get injured, so like that happened. But how much was he wrestling anyway for the amount of money that they paid him?
I
So I think Shane just sitting back there kind of looking at some of that stuff monetarily. Being a second set of
I
eyes on that, I think would be helpful.
I agree. Do I think Tony has put out some bloated contracts? Yeah. Do I think on the flip side those names have pulled in some of his audience? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, no,
Them
no.
signing them signing Jericho is what made them legitimate.
It hurts
People
me
can
today
hate
to
that
say
all they
that, but
want
yeah,
to. Me too, because you know how I feel about Jericho.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. He's still Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
Like, how many people don't watch wrestling, but can, if you say Chris Jericho, they're like, "Oh, I know who that is."
yeah. I mean, it's not to the same level, but it's very much it's a Hulk Hogan situation. Back in the day, even if you didn't watch wrestling, you knew who Hulk Hogan was because he was fucking everywhere. And Chris is the same way. Chris has done movie features on Sci-Fi. He has his traveling band. He has the cruise. Like he has all these other outlets that he goes out and promotes his name to. And so, even if you don't know wrestling, you know Chris Jericho.
Right, and that's I get giving Jericho a bunch of money. His
Yeah,
mind for the business. I get giving Danielson a bunch of money. His mind for the business. Um, I I will say their direction has been lacking overall,
they have been, and that's kind of been their issue for the longest time.
and I was
Is
really hoping Will Washington would help with that, and he hasn't. It hasn't helped to me.
so I'm gonna give some credit to it a little bit. Um, I do think that he has patched some holes because they are doing finally some long term stuff. They're finally telling some stories. When 90% of the rest of your TV though is hot shot booking, it's hard to see that. But when you look at things like Hangman and Swerve and that masterpiece of a storyline that they are still telling to this day, because you can't tell me that when Swerve comes back, there's not going to be some more of that still. That's not done.
Right.
But then when out of nowhere you have Moxley come back and he's got this weird thing that they're talking about, and he's like, "I'm going to retire you," and that match happens 2 months after it happened, because like the traffic on the internet right now is that this match that they're having up at Wrestle Dream is going to be it. That he's going to win the belt, which means
And if he
that
does,
Danielson retires because he said, "When I lose the belt, I'm done."
he's no longer a full-time wrestler.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's just
I don't
that's
think
a hot shot story. You threw something out there, made it really big, and it's like, oh, well, okay, we're done here in a couple of months. Give me some more on that.
I don't think Mox wins.
I don't,
I think
I don't know.
I think we get something. I don't think we get a dusty finish, but I think we get shenanigans, especially with everything going on with Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah,
Um,
and I hope so. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope this is a story.
I hate to say this. I know Marina Shafir is going to be out there. Fuck, I hope they don't roll Bree out there.
I don't disagree at all.
I get why you would, because obviously Danielson's not going to put his hands on Marina Shafir. He could, because she could go too. Um,
Let Yuta do it. I think Yuta's at that level. I think he could.
I don't know that they're willing to do
I don't think so either. But I'm just
that.
saying, if you're gonna have a man hit Marina, let it be Yuta, because to me that's more of a fair fight.
Right. I agree. Um, I definitely think that they're going to have to do something to counter Marina Shafir. I I hope it's not Brie, but I won't be surprised if it is.
Well, here's the thing. So Nikki has said that she's wanted to come back, and of course, with Nikki's legal troubles that she's having right now, she could probably use the money.
What legal troubles?
She's divorcing that recent husband, and
Really?
there's talk of abuse on both sides, and there's a fight over the kid. There's
Oh,
a lot
I
going
did
on with
not
that
know
right now.
that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There's some news for you. Yeah, with all that, I'm sure she could use the influx of money to help with it.
Right.
So maybe she comes in and does that.
And I'd be good with that. It would make sense because it's Nikki.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously they ran Brie out there when he won the title
For sure.
and put her in the ring. So I don't think running Nikki out there would hurt anything. Um, it would counter the Marina. It would be a pretty decent pop. People would talk about it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think Danielson loses.
Okay.
I think if he loses it, I'll be shocked if he loses. Um, because Revolution is their big boy. I could see it happening there. I don't see them having him carry it till All In next year. I feel like that he said he's got to have surgery.
Hmm.
Um, so I feel like him expecting him to do that is crazy, craziness. Um, but I don't think he loses it.
I personally hope not. That's all I've heard is that people are saying that this is it for him, and this is what they were leading to. And to me, that's just a very short sighted story if that's the case.
And that's
Um,
kind of I'm kind of with you on that. If you were going to do that, why did you need to put the title on Brian? I mean, yes, you should have put the title on him so he has it before he leaves. Triple crown in terms of ROH, AEW, WWE. But why?
yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I'm fine with putting the title on Brian. Just if it's going to be a all right, well, a couple of months down the line, he's going to lose to somebody. Why is it Moxley?
Well, and
Have him put over somebody that needs to be put over.
them saying that the whole I just it's one of those things that to me, why are we doing this? That whole thing with the plastic bag was stupid
Hmm.
because you didn't pin his arms back. Rip a hole in the bag. Like,
One
yeah,
poke.
literally. Um, I just don't. Why are we doing this so quick? Why Mox? And if Danielson is bad enough that he's hurt and needs to have surgery, have him relinquish the title. Go do what he got to do.
Hmm.
If he can come back, he comes back. If not, he left a champ.
Yep. I'm sure the
He,
fear of that is he's done that twice.
I know.
But then
I
again, you
that or just
use that as the story. If he comes back, like he can come back after that, have that be the story for whoever's champ.
yeah,
You need to stop having these chances because each time you can't hack it.
yeah. By the time you get there, you're so beat up anyway. And hopefully at that point, here's the other side of this. They're not even talking about it. Christian has a contract.
Hmm.
What happens if Christian cashes in? I would not have Moxley be the one to retire Danielson. I would have it be Christian. Danielson wins, beats Moxley. Christian cashes in, puts Daniel out. Christian can then ride the fact that he retired Brian Danielson, not John Moxley,
Hmm.
into a whole feud. Oh, they're saying Luchasaurus may not wrestle again.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
They don't
that's
they
rough.
don't want to say it's a career threatening issue, but that's kind of a career threatening issue, which is sad.
Yeah,
Such a good talent. Um, hey, I've been meaning to ask you about aesthetics. What do you think of the new IC belt?
yeah. See belt different.
Yeah, they added blue to the globes that are on the title as soon as Jay won it. I take it you haven't noticed that.
I hadn't. Oh, it's white. It's the white belt, right?
Hmm.
With the globes on the side. Oh, it's the black one.
Yeah.
Okay. Eh, they had them on there just as the same color as the belt before. Uh, I don't think it's a big deal.
Oh, I think it makes it pop massively better than it did.
Like, here's a picture of Jay that doesn't have that. It's just got the belt as it was.
Yeah, where all of the metal part is all kind of that same like brassy
Mm-hmm.
color.
Hmm. Okay. I eh.
Fair enough.
I mean, I hate to be like that, but eh.
Well, I had a bigger reaction about it. I'm big about aesthetics. I think those little bit of changes, like for instance the U.S. belt, I would put the blue behind the stars because they don't have that now, and it's just like the white stars and then like the normal background of the belt, and it's like why would you not put the American flag on the U.S. championship? It just seems like it would pop to me, but I don't know. There's been talk backstage that WWE has realized that they've got a little bit of growing pains going to the 2 hours, which obviously we had some growing pains.
I First of all, it was weird for Raw to be over at 9 o'clock our time.
Hmm.
It was weird.
It was.
I was like, because I paused it for a little bit because I had gotten home and Grace and I were talking. Or no, I was on the phone for a little bit. So I was like 20 some odd minutes behind. So at like 9:15, when I finally got to where the main event was starting, I was like, why are we having the main event at 9:15? And I was like, oh shit, it's 2 hours. And I paused it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense now. I don't like it,
Hmm.
which is crazy because when they went to 3 hours, I hated it.
Well, it's they finally figured out what to do with it, and so now that they know how to work the 3 hours and make it entertaining, give me more. Like,
Right. I my concern is you're not going to have enough time for everybody because you have a stacked roster right now and you just lost an hour of TV time, which I'm aware is 40-ish minutes. But that's 40-ish minutes.
Yeah.
How much stuff are we going to start seeing on YouTube and their other social media pages because they don't have time on Raw?
Yeah. They've got such a big roster, and I think they've finally figured out how to use that roster to the best of their ability to get people on the show in a meaningful way rather than just throwing people
Throwing
on a
them out there.
screen. Um,
Right.
because and you and I discussed on the last show, like the 10 woman match that they had, and yes, there is a story in there. It's a very light story. It's basically just one of the members of one side broke the nose of the other side, and they've been picking on Zelina Vega. But that was kind of it. That's kind of the only story that was there. Like there was no real reason um, why the witches were there, just because
Yeah,
they
I
were
don't.
bad. They were bad guys, and so was Pure Fusion. So why not? It was just weird.
Yeah, I don't.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of them staying at 3 hours. Sean Rossap did get some clarification, I guess, or more vagueness if you want to say it that way. It does look like SmackDown's going to be staying 2 hours for now. They're
Yeah,
not in a discussion to move that to 3 hours.
they're not
Um,
going to.
and they did not give any clarification on whether Raw would go back to 3 hours when they went to Netflix. So, so
I
nothing really
think it
about that.
will.
I
I
don't,
think it will,
I don't see why not. You're
especially
not
on Netflix.
well. And here's the thing. I will say it this way. I don't think they'll go to 3 hours, but I do think that they could be more fluid now. If you only
I
have
agree.
2.5 hours of content, then you don't need to stretch it. Do your solid 2.5 hours, give us a good show, and that's okay because you're not butting up against anything. You don't have to have a 3 hour show
Right,
because something's coming on after you.
right.
However, if next week you don't want to cut some shit out and it ends up being 3:15, then give me 3:15. If it's a good
Right.
show,
You have the perfect opportunity to say, "Give me 316," and you miss it.
yeah, I'm not on my game. It's late. Um, but
Steve Austin will be disappointed.
he would be. Um, but to me, they could be a lot more fluid with it. I mean, look at shows that are out there now. You got um, Stranger Things, for instance. Like some episodes are 40 minutes, some episodes are an hour. It's just what they have in that episode. So you could be more fluid with it. It wouldn't have to be an exact 3 hours
Dis-
every time.
Disney does that with the Marvel shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of, have you seen the most recent Agatha?
I have
Graves called it before the episode.
Cold Witch part.
I was the ending,
Okay.
who he is. I was like, no.
Yeah. There's been a lot of teasers online about what it was because of the letters it would scribe when he would not be able to say his name and
Well, when they went into the last house, the outfit he had on was the same outfit the kid did at Halloween.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
they played that really well. Again though, like to shadow what we were just talking about with AEW stories, I think they hot shotted that a little bit too quick.
well, there's
Um,
only six episodes, I think, and this was 4 or 5.
I think those are three.
This was 5.
Is
No,
this five? Have we already been that
this is
far
like
into it?
5.
They gave us two the first. Yeah, they gave us two the first day.
They
Never
gave us
mind.
2 the first day.
That's why I'm thinking that. I think it's four. It's third week for me, so that makes sense then.
No,
Is it not?
no, I think you're incorrect. Let me. This is I'm looking for it music. There it is. Um, yeah, this was episode 5,
Oh wow.
fourth week.
Wow, we're already that far into it. No, never mind then. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It seems maybe it feels that way to me though because week to week they were trying to push out of your mind who he actually was because they tried to say like some witch was hiding him, which immediately people were like, "Oh my god, that's Wanda's kid. That's Wanda's kid. That's Wanda's kid." And then the next week they're like teasing that it might be Agatha's boy, and the next week they're like, "No, it's not your boy." Seemed like a really I don't know, really quick turnaround to push us away
I
from the
just,
point and then come back to the point. But yeah,
I don't. It'll be interesting how they finish it out. So,
uh, I'll be more interested to find out how is he alive
yeah, that's
because he's not real or he wasn't
he,
real.
right. But look at why. I don't want to ruin this. So, obviously, nobody's watching right now. But so, spoiler for Agatha. If you haven't watched it, stop listening, mute it, fast forward, whatever. Um, the dream that Agatha was stuck in at the beginning made it look like Wanda's dead.
Hmm.
But again, she was still under a spell. So is Wanda actually dead?
Oh, I don't think she is. I I never thought she was
And
because we didn't see her die.
right. The other side of that is how does what is who is basically Tommy have that much power?
Hmm.
So yeah, when she said you're so much like your mom, I was like, oh, Grace called it. I told her she was crazy. I was like, nah, that's not her kid. No, 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 that's not. It was. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I thought it from the first episode. There was too many things. The W when he would try to say his name would
I didn't notice that.
etch onto his mouth.
I
Um,
just saw it like
the fact
messed
that
it up. I didn't notice that it.
they talked about the hex and was like a witch will put that on you to hide your identity from people. It would make sense that she would want to hide the identity of her son from people. It would make sense for that. And also when she first meets him in the dream thing, he's got the same black fingers.
I didn't think I noticed that.
Yeah, when she's questioning him at the table, he's got like half his fingers are black, like
I
Wanda's
just have
was when
black.
she used that
The dark
the
hold.
Darkhold. Which
Interesting.
which maybe that's how he's alive. Maybe the Darkhold. Maybe she did something with it to make him real. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little thumbs up for people that can come back now that we're done talking about talking about Agatha. Um, right, you're here for wrestling and Agatha news.
I mean, we do a lot of different things here.
Yep. A couple other little just little things that were in Fightful stuff. People were questioning the fact that Tiffany said Bailey's real name,
I
Pam.
noticed that
If there was any heat about that, no heat at all. She slipped up.
it was a little flub. She slipped
Yeah,
up and corrected herself.
which is it's fine. Um, CM Punk is not expected to be at Crown Jewel, which I don't think anybody expected him to be. They've essentially written him off for the foreseeable future. So, however, he did show up at NXT the next night, so he was backstage. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he didn't show up on the show. He apparently decided he was going to go there, which doesn't
The
surprise
Triple
me.
H and Shawn press conference was fucking hilarious.
Yes, it was. I did show that to my youngest daughter just because she's constantly trying to get me to say phrases like that, and so I wanted to show her that my funny wrestling stuff was doing that. Um, I love that Sean lost track of where he was in the script. He was just like, I don't know where the
Because he
hell I
started
am.
laughing.
Yeah. And the fact that they kept that in, they're just like, because there might have been more there, and he was just like, I don't even know where I am on this thing.
After their first press conference, I wasn't sure what we were getting,
Yeah.
which made it that much better.
Um, so as we did see, Stephanie Vakir did make her in-ring debut, or not in-ring debut necessarily, but her NXT debut, just kind of showing up on the show. After that happened, Mercedes in a interview decided she is going to take credit for the fact that she got signed. She has a feeling that it was the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view event where they faced each other that caused WWE to look at them, look at Stephanie as someone to possibly hire. Now, whether that's in character or not, I don't know. It may just be in character of her
That does sound a
acting.
little in character for Mercedes.
Yeah, but it was, is what it is. Um, do you want to do a quick just Wrestle Dream? What we think's gonna happen?
Sure.
Pull that up here real quick. Updated lineup. This is from E Wrestling News. Give them some credit. So here is the 0 hour. 0 hour so far is going to be Atlantis Jr.
ROH Pure Champion.
Versus Brian Cage. Brian Cage showing up again.
Brian Cage ain't winning that.
TV champion, by the way, not pure champion.
Oh, ROH TV Champion.
Yeah. Um,
Okay. Cage may win that.
I think Cage might. I'm not a Cage fan. I haven't been. I don't think ever.
Part of the reason I like Brian Cage is who trained him.
That's valid. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of his. I don't think he presents well on TV. He's a massive human being. He can move, but he I don't know. In the ring, he's just so slow and sloppy to me
Yeah, I
that
agree.
I can't get behind it. But I do have a feeling that yeah, he's probably going to come away with that. Um, Swerve's supposed to show up at some point in the night, so it's good that we're going to see him back. We're going to have Hangman Page versus Jay White. Um,
That shit's gonna be so good.
this is one of those where like I just said how much I don't like their hot shot stuff.
This isn't a hot shot.
It's not. But that's what it feels like it is because he just kind of came back and jumped straight into it. But the fact that they're tying it into I was
Hangman
hurt
taking him
in a
out.
match with Hangman.
No, backstage.
Oh, it was backstage. Um,
Hangman jumped him backstage when he was
so
going through that. I'm attacking everybody in sight.
oh, that's right. Um,
Yeah.
so that
So
being the reason
I'm
he's
good
been
with
gone, I'm
this.
good at. Yeah, it makes a
Yeah.
good story then. Um,
Jay White's not winning that.
see, I don't know. The only reason I can say Jay White wins it is because it's him versus Hangman. Hangman has not been winning a lot lately, and he's slowly getting more and more crazy.
That's fair. So
And so,
maybe he won't win.
and to me, the other X factor is
Jay
Swerve
White
showing
wins
up.
and catches another beat down. Plus you got Juice Robinson, who is ridiculous.
I don't see him peeing on Hangman Page. Um,
That'd be so funny though.
we got Darby Allin versus Brody King, which
Gonna be so good.
I don't care how many times you show me this match. Like
I'll watch it every
you
time.
usually big man versus little man matches are not that great,
These are
but
great
good
every
lord, every
time.
time.
Somebody else has joined us. Hello.
Hey, say hi, say something. Good to have you here. Um, so who do you think, Darby? Do you think Darby's going to come away with this, or do you think
Darby wins.
the new looking Brody King because he wasn't all House of
No, he
Blacked up?
wasn't. Um, that raises questions. Um, I think Darby wins.
I think he does too. I think we're still looking for a thing. I will say the back and forth between them on the mic
Was really
was
good.
really good. Him flat out talking about like, look, the problem I have with you is that I'm here every week putting my butt on the line in this ring. What happens when you go try to climb Mount Everest and you don't come back?
It
Damn.
was a great line.
It was. It and it's a perfect setup for that because it is. It's basically him saying like, Darby, you're selfish. You're going off doing these other things because you're a thrill seeker. You're not here because you love it. I'm here
Yep.
because I love it. So great stuff there. Yeah, I do think Darby comes away with it though. It's hard to ever say that the big man's going to win those matches, just because that's not the story you want to tell. Is that the big man could beat the crap out of the little guy?
With them, if they're repackaging Brody or showing him a little different, maybe.
Yeah,
I'd call it a 60-40. Darby wins.
I'd be good with that. 2 out of 3 falls match: Hologram versus the Beast Mortos. This hologram kid, I don't know who he is. Um, I don't know if he's real,
I'm
but
I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
um, I don't disagree with you on that. I do think Hologram's going to get it though. I don't think they're not going to
He's
beat that
not
streak
losing.
against Mortos. As great as Mortos is, don't get me wrong, I like Mortos. It's one of those though where I don't think those gimmicks cross over well. It's not what American wrestling is, and so it's weird for us to see that a man dressed as a bull flipping around the ring. It's not something that interests me.
I take that back. Hologram may lose
Really.
because of what they did with Rouge Strelistico and Jake Roberts.
So I can see that. The only thing that would get me of I still think Hologram could come away with it is Mortos was very at odds with putting his fist up there. He was questioning it a lot. And
He
so
was hesitant.
they could play with that as far as being like that's why he lost because he's not fully embracing the
Yeah. I don't know. I call that a 50-50. I literally either one of them could win. I don't give a shit either way, but either one of them could win.
It's fair enough. All right, we got the Young Bucks versus Private Party. Um,
I am calling it now. Private Party is winning that.
I think they can come away with it. I think it's a perfect story. Private Party has been there pretty much since day one, trying to build themselves up to who they can be. And so them beating
They
the Young Bucks,
snuck
I
one
think is
in on the
perfect.
Bucks. They snuck one in on the Bucks 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Private Party wins that, and I kind of hope they do.
And if you want, because right now the Young Bucks to me are a little stale. We started doing the we're the CEOs gimmick with them,
The
and that
EVPs.
yeah, that kind of went away. If you wanted to bring that back and have, for lack of a for a better comparison, a DX style thing of the bosses and the people bucking the system, I think Private Party's perfect for that.
Yeah,
So have them win the titles and have the Young Bucks be salty about it and use their EVP power and try to make Private Party's life a living hell. But at every turn, Private Party gets the one up.
yeah.
We have the ROH World Title, Briscoe versus Jericho. Briscoe by a mile. If nothing
I
else, for
think this is.
but
I think this is where Big Bill turns
that could be what brings him down. If
because
nothing else for Jericho saying what he said about Mark and Jay, basically saying like Jay's the reason you're where you are, and he brought up the dead brother. That in itself to me means there's no way he wins this match. You can't bring that up and then have him win the belt.
yeah, I see Jericho maybe winning the match, but not the belt.
Doing like a disqualification if Bill turns. That could make sense.
Or Mark is just putting a beat down on and doesn't stop.
That could be too. But yeah, Mark keeps the belt regardless. There's no way that they're going to give that to Jericho right now. Um, TNT Championship, Jack Perry versus the turkey leg himself, Shibata. Um, Jack Perry's keeping that. I mean,
Probably. I'd be good with Shibata winning it,
I would
but
be
he's probably
too,
not going to.
but I don't think we're done with this rebuild of Jack Perry.
Mm-mm.
And so him losing that belt doesn't make any sense right now.
No, it doesn't.
Because where do you go with Jack Perry from there?
Right.
International Championship: Will Ospreay versus Ricochet versus Takeshita.
That match is going to be fucking crazy.
It is going to be insane. I do think that Takeshita gets the belt. I think that's why we have it as a three-way. And I kind of think Kyle Fletcher turns on Will Ospreay in that match, and that's what gets Takeshita the win.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't I don't see Kyle Fletcher turning on Osprey. I don't see it. Now, Lance Archer addition to Don Callis getting involved makes a little more sense.
Maybe. Either way, I think there's going to be some shenanigans to get to catch that
Yes.
belt. It's not going to be a clean thing. Um, and then of course we'll have the internet wrestling community complain because Ricochet it didn't win a belt his first match in AEW because that's the only way we can possibly say that he's doing good at his job. AEW Women's World Championship: Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. Uh, First of all, the fact that
Mariah.
Willow's in this match is amazing. Um, I'm with you. I did not expect her to win that four way.
And then pounce Mariah off the fucking screen.
Amazing, amazing blow, amazing thing to see on TV. Very like Keith Lee meme esque. Of just out of nowhere pouncing her out of the frame and then talking to her after doing it. Um, Kind of just in passing. Yeah, Mariah May's keeping it. I would like to see Willow lose it. And to me, it's like a 5% botch because Tony is done in Japan now, and she got buddy buddy with with Mio. I forget her name. The girl that was running around with her, Mariah. Um, I don't know. That's something I'll look up
Ina
later.
Shirakawa.
There you go. She's been
Ina
getting
Shirakawa.
buddy with her in Japan while she's been over there. So if Tony came back to cost Mariah the championship, that would be kind of cool. And
Be
then
interesting.
Willow gets the belt for a while. I'd be good with that. And then the main event, we've already kind of talked about it, but Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. My want is that Bryan wins it. I'm afraid that they're going to have John win it.
I think Danielson wins.
I do hope so. I don't want the story to end that quick. We just got
I'm
to
kind
this
of
whole
with
redemption
you.
story.
I kind of am with you that that's a super quick turnaround to be done.
Yeah. Because I pictured this when he said, like, when I lose this, I'm done. I expected very much like a John Cena thing, like we're seeing now, of like we're gonna get a year of Bryan fighting.
I don't think physically he can do a year.
I think he could. I'm not saying pay per view to pay per view because, like, obviously, a month to month, I don't think he could have matches that big. But every couple of pay per views, throwing out a match, and not all of them have to be the bangers like he has been doing. Have a situation where he goes out there against a Darby Allin. Not that him and Darby Allin couldn't have a banger, but Darby Allin's not going to put him through the same type of ringer that a Moxley would.
Right.
You all right over
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Trying to figure out what she was doing.
there? so that's our card so far. I mean, nothing else has been added. We still got a little bit of time. I don't think they're adding anything in the next 2 days, but uh,
It's Tony. They might.
that's valid. But we will be watching it, so we can definitely talk about it on Tuesday when we get back before we get started with some new GM mode. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a good card. Every match
Yeah,
on there
should be a
looks
good
like it's
show.
gonna be a great match. Um, I personally even think that the hologram and Beast Morto's match is gonna be good.
It'll
Not
be
not
good. I
not
just
my
don't
style of
care.
wrestling, so I'm not gonna care as much. But
Part of the reason I don't care is this hologram dude. You're suicide. Calm down.
well, everybody was suicide. Um,
Literally. I mean, if I get a Curryman showing, I'm good, but
I would love it if Curryman showed up.
I love that. That was one of the greatest things ever. I loved Curryman, dude.
Um,
That shit was
I don't
so
like how
good.
Curryman stole Blue Meanie's moves though. That was messed
Mm.
up.
I think that's part of what made it funny.
Um, all right. Well, I think that's all I have. Anything you want to bring up?
No, I think we covered everything.
Something you're excited to see? Something you were surprised to see?
I am curious to see where they go with the Wyatt Six.
Oh, so a little more info came up with the DLC that's coming up. Um,
Okay.
so it's got the new Bray Wyatt with the unused attire. The guy that made it apparently had a very emotional response when he saw it the first time in the game because he never thought it would make any traction beyond something he made for Bray. It also comes with you saw that they're doing some uh, elite action figures in the game. They took one of the Bray Wyatt elites and made it into a video game character as well, and it's the like old Bray with um
The flannel.
uh no Hawaiian shirt, the old lantern and all that. So cool to see that in there. And then they are doing an updated bow because
Okay.
the current Howdy that's in the game, if you take the mask off, is the Miz's model with the mask on. It's not even Bo. So they're doing an
Interesting.
updated one that's actually Bo. Now that's just what they've
Gotcha.
said today. We still got 6 more days, and they've been announcing
Yeah.
something every day. So
Interesting.
kind of hoping as we're getting
It'll be
closer to it
interesting.
that we might get the six, which would be really cool. And again, you give me the full Wyatt six, and the money goes to the Wyatt family. I'm down. I'll buy it.
Right. Yeah.
They'll show up in GM mode. I'm good with that. Um,
That's a start over and pick them all.
that's if they show up though. That's the only thing I don't like is the initial pool. How it's not everybody.
Right.
Um, I think that needs to change. I get it. It's like I think this year was 120 some odd people. I get it would take a
Right.
long time to go through, but I'd do it. It's fine.
That or make it so it's searchable.
Hmm.
You can put in a name, you can put in something
I also
to
like
pull.
um, if you could do things as teams because they do that in the draft where it's like
Mm,
we've drafted the entire Hurt Business.
or the New Day or the
Yeah,
Street Pro. Yeah,
like maybe if you pick
I
one, it
agree.
gives an option that pops up of do you want the entire faction, and you can pick yes or no, and
That
then
could be good.
you don't get to like, and I'm even fine with that if you don't get to pick for the next 3 rounds. Like say if it's the New Day, okay, well then you skip the next 2 rounds because you picked the full New Day. Okay, I got 3 people. I'll wait 2 rounds. Fine.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
But anyway, yeah. So the entrance looks amazing. I love the new Bray skin. Looks really really cool. Um, I'll have a lot of fun seeing that one in action once it actually gets here, and playing that one because I'm wondering if they mocapped what they talked about with the new mask because we talked about little bit last time how the back has like a more feminine mask on the back of it, and it was supposed to represent Sister Abigail. Um,
Yeah,
so instead of doing like the bend back at the corner where he would show like his face upside down, he said he was going
yeah,
to change it somehow where it would be showing the other mask. And so Sister
interesting.
Abigail's looking at you. And so
Okay,
I'm kind of intrigued. The only way I could think is if like you backed up to it and bent forward because the
yeah.
mask here was upside down,
Or if you start here, you can see the mask, and then you go back.
maybe. But it's something. Be kind of cool to see if they mocap that into it, just that little
Yeah,
bit of touch. Also, be fun to see if we get the six. We still got some time, so maybe we get more
yeah,
people, or at least skins for the ones that are there. I get if we can't get a Rowan in there because we'd have to do a complete new scan for Rowan, uh,
yeah.
which I don't think we really would. I'd be fine if you used his old scan from when he was a Bludgeon Brother and just change the look. But that's just me.
Good.
But yeah, so I think that's something to look forward to. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And we're getting up really quick. We're gonna start probably hearing WWE 2K 25 news here pretty
Yeah,
soon. We're getting close to the development of that, which that's
yeah,
already looking insane just because with of everything that's happening with TNA. Um,
yeah.
we got Stephanie and Julia showing up, and it's before or no, it's after the cutoff, but like we've seen them do it. Like Jade showed up about the time the game was going live, and they found a way to put her in it. So it will be interesting to see. The only other thing that had an update was apparently AJ got hurt at his return match um against Mello. No real word on what the injury, how bad the injury is. So it sucks because he just came back, and AJ is one of those that's always fun to watch. But well, all right. I think that then wraps this up. Still nothing going on after the show, so uh, no updates on a new silk stockings or anything like that. But if you will, go ahead and follow us on the socials down below. Um, Make sure to hit that follow button. It's free, and it just helps us make the show a little bit more fun for you guys. And if we get some people here live that will talk, that would be very nice too. Cool things coming in the future. More to come on that. Um, exciting stuff. But just remember, pro wrestling is for everyone. Be kind. We will catch you on the next one.